Real estate agents are really good at running in all directions and not knowing exactly where they're going. So,
well, part of it is not knowing, number one, part of it is not knowing exactly what they should be doing. Like I said this on stage last week in LA. I was like, how many of you guys got into this business to be a telemarketer? And yet the whole industry is shaming people for not making phone calls. It's like we have to shift people to doing the things that actually make sense and work for them. And listen, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just simply saying when I ask the average person, do you like making calls? And they're like, no. I said, what if I could show you 2 or 3 things that would help it make it so that calls are way less painful? They're like, yeah, I want to see that. So add value first. So here's the recipe. I'll give it to you right here. Add value first, then make a phone call. Like people calling in the wrong damn order.
welcome everyone. I've got my friend Russ Laggan, rhymes with dragon. Remember that. Remember that. Please follow him on all his socials, do all that good stuff. You just wrote a book. It's called Be Followable. I love that name because it makes me it's like, what is that actually followable, right?
Yeah.
Good. I like that. And I love the cover, dude. Like you didn't complicate it. Like stick figure going up A, B, and it makes sense. So
I mean, that's like a core recipe that I've used for most of my career as a leader. It's like, where are you now? Where do you want to be? How are you going to get there? By the way, if you're talking to a kid, ask your kid, hey, where are you at now? Where do you want to be? How are you going to get there? By the way, you got a spouse? Where are you at now? We good? Yeah, good. Where do you want to be? How do you want to get there? Right? It's like, it's literally the stick figure drawing of every conversation that's good because you make it about them. And you make the conversation about them, they're going to freaking like you a lot.
That's so true, man. Yeah, I love that you have that title because with social media, with the way that we're in right now, with the current atmosphere of the world for business, right? 5 most visited websites in the world, Google, still Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and ChatGPT, right? Crazy. Those are the top 5. This is so relevant, but there's a piece of it where because of where we're at right now with our environment, there's a piece of it where we need to start. And that's where you start. And that's mindset. Like how are you even showing up? Because you're with EXP, you're the chief growth officer or VP of chief growth officer for the West, right? You have to keep an eye on who's crazy and who's showing up better, right? And you've done a great job showing up consistently, man. I was just talking to you outside of this not being recorded. I was saying that when I joined EXP, you had a good presence. When I left EXP, you have a good presence. And this is the part that I wanted to talk to you about. I love that you now bring in a lot more of what you do, man, because I didn't know that you did woodwork. And I was like,
here we go.
That's what hooked me. That's what hooked me to watching you more. I was like, oh, this is so cool, dude. I didn't know that. And you don't just dabble in it.
I just dabble.
You go all in. Come on. Like I see the stuff you built. This is crazy.
Yeah. So, well, a couple of things, so thank you for that, by the way. So, it's funny because my response back to you is like, dude, you're so consistent. I'm like, it doesn't feel like it. I feel like I could do better.
We can all do better.
I know, right? It's like, no matter how good we get, you always feel like you could do better, right? And there's people that are doing worse that are like, I wish I was that good. And then there's people that are that good. They're like, I wish I could be that, we always have those things. And I mean, that's part of the challenge of being a driven person is you always want to do, dude, you know what happened after I raced my first triathlon?
Tell me.
I trained way freaking harder because now I knew I was getting like, that was a beat down of a lifetime. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to train harder. And then I go into my next triathlon. I got my butt kicked. You know why? I was faster, but I still got my butt kicked. Because, dude, no matter, like, I go 100% every time on most of the things I play with. I go 100%. Like, I'm full throttle, full contact. My wife jokingly calls me a light switch. She's like, you're either full throttle or you're shut completely the F off.
There's no middle ground.
It's like Russ is hauling ass and then narcolepsy.
No, it's so funny. I mean, dude,
You
That's
see
why
those
your
ghosts
name.
pass out?
That's why your name rhymes with dragon, right?
Totally, dude. Yeah,
You're all,
but it's
all-
the all in, right? So the funny thing is, like from a social standpoint, and I do this much more intentionally now, is show the other stuff, right? Because like like I'm leader, real estate guy / senior executive guy. That's great, but that's not that freaking. I mean, it's interesting, but it's not that interesting. But like when I see people out and about, and I meet people in groups, right? Bump into people at NAR or Inman or something, they're like, "Hey, you're the woodworking guy. I love your woodworking," and I'm like. They never said, "Hey, dude, that video you talked about leadership."
no.
No, but they're like, "Dude, you build bass guitars? Wait a minute. You have a forge?" Like men go freaking wild fanboy when they're like, "You have a freaking forge where you heat up a piece of metal and beat the crap out of it into a different shape and turn it into sharp and pointy?" Really? Yeah, dude, it's fun. It's fun. There's no such thing as a bad day with a forge.
No.
At the end of the day, you go in there and whale the crap out of metal. It's like life is good.
You're a blacksmith, dude.
I'm a white smith.
That's true. That's true. All right. Question. Yeah. You start with mindset in your book.
Yeah.
And tell me about why you start with that. It's apparent to you and I, especially to a lot of people going nuts right now on social, right? But why do you start with that, and why is it so important?
Yeah. So, well, two things. So like chapter 1, I talk about opening up some space. Like every time I read a book, they're like, you should do this, 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 and this. And like, none of them ever say, here's how you open up some space so you have time to do that. Right. So chapter 1 is actually open up some space, right? It's like evaluate what you're doing, eliminate a bunch of things that don't serve you or wasting your time, not moving towards your path. And then third part is execute now that you have some space on the stuff you should be executing on, right? The second chapter goes into working in your business, on your business. It's like, are you working on the right stuff? Like, how do you know if you're working on the right stuff or not? Like, and that goes to that goes straight into mindset. So yeah, it is a mindset of like work on the right stuff. And then when you're working on the right stuff, man, it's way easier to be passionate. It's way easier to be enthusiastic. It's way easier to be excited to show up and go all in because now I know I'm working on the right stuff. Like there's one thing better than running fast. You know what that is? Running fast in the right direction.
It's so right. That's
the
so
guy's
true.
like, dude, I'm hauling ass. I'm like, yeah, but the finish line's that way.
Where are you going?
You're like, dude, really?
Wait, hold on. Real estate agents are really good at running in all directions.
All of them.
And not knowing exactly where they're going.
Yeah. Well, part of it is not knowing, number one, part of it is not knowing exactly what they should be doing. Like I said this on stage last week in LA. I was like, how many of you guys got into this business to be a telemarketer? Yeah. And yet the whole industry shaming people for not making phone calls. It's like, so we have to shift people to doing the things that actually make sense and work for them. Listen, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just simply saying when I ask the average person, do you like making calls? And they're like, no. I said, what if I could show you 2 or 3 things that would help it make it so that calls are way less painful? They're like, yeah. I want to see that. So
that's what we all
add value first. So here's the recipe. I'll give it to you right here. Add value first, then make a phone call. Like people are calling in the wrong damn order. Like if you add value first, Tristan, hey, I've got this, check this out, right? I just said this earlier today. As a matter of fact, the picture's still probably up here. If you have something that people are interested in, they're going to be interested in it. Like here's a thing, you love checking things out.
Oh, dude, I love that. Yes.
U.S. home ownership sees massive 5-year gains in equity. So like here's every state in the country and the amount of equity they have if they bought a house 5 years ago. And every time I say, it was like, hey man, I got that. Do you want that? By the way, people are going to be like, dude, where did he get that? Where is that? Right? So like California, 47.8%. By the way, big one. Here's a wild one. Idaho, 91.3% appreciation in the last 5 years. So, it just, if you send that to somebody and then follow up and be like, hey, Tristan, just want to touch base with you. Did you get the thing I sent?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man, like that's a conversation where I want them to say no. They're like, no, like, please, man, I hate being told that. Yeah. Let me resend it to you. Great. Let me make sure I got your info correct. Cool. By the way, how's the dog? Can you do that? That's
right. It's very true, man.
Like,
where do you gravitate to typically when you're looking at offering value and you're having agents trying to figure out where they should offer value? Like what platform, database, newsletter?
Yeah.
What does that look like if they want to just focus in on one thing so they're not running all over the place?
Okay, so the right answer is whatever one you're going to do. Right?
So
like if I tell you,
figure out which one you're great at.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got, it's funny, Leo Pareja, CEO of EXP, he was standing on stage in Phoenix. It's part of the reason I was in Phoenix. And he stood on stage and he's like, when I took the CEO role, Glenn said to me, hey, dude, like I can't find you on social media anywhere. And he's like, because I'm not on social media. So Glenn made him set up a Facebook account to be on Facebook, to be able to be, to be able to connect, because it's such a high level connection, right? So for him, it's not his wheelhouse. He doesn't love it, but he's now gotten better at it and gotten used to it, right? So it's a matter of like, do you need to do something different? Tristan just saw a thing this morning, NAR research. By the way, the average age of your typical real estate agent is 57. The average age of your first-time home buyer is 38. Used to be 28. Not that long ago, it was 28, right? The average age of your second, third, fourth, fifth-time home buyer is 61.
Damn.
So listen, man, like everybody's like, well, Russ, you got to get on TikTok. I'm like, is your average 61-year-old that's not weird on TikTok? If you're not creepy, are you on TikTok at 61? It's like, I'm joking, of course, because there are plenty.
That was good.
I'm joking, but I thought that was funny.
That was funny.
Well, let's meet people where they are, right? We used to have this restaurant in town called Bill Knapp's. And it was weird because it was like a white building and it looked like a funeral home. It was strange. And it really looked like a funeral home. And it was very much old school home style cooking. Like they had the best fried chicken with mashed potatoes,
nice.
Just really
like
cool,
that.
right? And you walk in the building and it was all old people. It looked like God's waiting room, which is wild because it looked like a funeral home. The clientele looked like God's waiting room. And what happened is the company then decides they want to modernize a little bit, Cracker Barrel-esque this thing. By the way, Bill Knapp's did what Cracker Barrel has been trying to do. You know where Bill Knapp's is now? Bye-bye. It's been gone for 20 years. They blew that thing up 20 plus years ago.
Wow.
So with that being said, it's like, you got to figure out what your customers are, who your customers are, and then meet them there, right? So like I will teach, like if you say, hey, Russ, by the way, I used to sell houses, Tristan. So I had one full-time, one part-time person. We close over 100 sales a year.
Damn.
So you want to, let's go.
Well, if I'm looking at this and you're telling me pay attention to who your customer is, right?
Yes.
How do we pay attention to that? How do we do it right?
Well, so the first thing is like, who are your people? And some people say, well, Russ, I don't really know my people. Okay, there's problem number one, right? You'll hear people say, know thyself, right? And by the way, you're probably surrounded with people that are a lot like you.
That's true.
And by the way, if you're doing this business right and building anything right, you probably want to set up a scenario where you do things that you really enjoy. Tristan, if you said to me, Russ, go back out in the market right now, I would go join freaking pickleball. I'd join a pickleball league with 70 pickleheads. And then every week they introduce me to 3 new pickleheads that I play against. And then, by the way, halfway through, they introduce me to 3 new ones. And then after we're done, we're sitting over on the bench, goofing off, sipping on a Coca-Cola or adult beverage. And they're like, hey, man, what do you do?
That's exactly what happens because I play pickleball. That's like the number one question. What do you do?
All right. So I didn't intend to go real estate on you here, but so here's the thing. So you say back to them, I'm a real estate agent, right? And then they ask you some version of,
how's the market? How's the market all the time? Some version of that. Yep.
Some version of that. And then we are taught wrong. Newsflash, we're taught wrong how to answer that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So here's what you're typically taught. You're typically taught, well, Russ, you got to have an elevator pitch. You got to have something to say, right? Or you got to start asking them questions, which is actually a little bit better than just having a pitch, right? But think about it. Elevator pitch is a sales pitch, right? When somebody asks you a question and you do some kind of pitch, do they typically come to you?
No, man, you push them away
from. Yes, right? Like it's human nature, right? Like as soon as you get into a relationship and you try to get something, that's the first thing. And they're like, well, the goal, Russ, isn't to actually do anything with them right now. It's to get their info. I'm like, okay, so my job to go into this relationship is to try to get something from them. And guess what happens? They freaking run from you, right?
Yeah, you don't get any information.
Yeah, well, so nobody ever asks me anything else, Tristan, ever. They always ask me something about the house market. So I learned back going into 2006, 7, riding my mountain bike, Gary Ewell riding in front of me. He's like, hey, Russ, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, well, I'm trying not to die on a bicycle right now, because he was faster than me. And eventually I'd catch up and they'd stop and I'd let me talk when I can breathe. And he asked me what I did. I said, I'm a real estate agent. He said some version, how's the market? And accidentally I said something like, I just did a market update yesterday. You want me to send it to you? And his response was, yeah.
Oh, dude,
great. Give me your info.
So simple.
Have you ever seen a plan so complicated it's got to work?
That's funny. I've seen a plan so complicated it never works.
Bingo, right? So people got all these crazy gyrations, and literally my answer now is, so Tristan, I want you to go play pickleball, and I want you to sit down, be nice and friendly to people, smile, ask them what they do, be genuinely interested in them. And when they ask you what you do, realtor, how's the market? I just did a market update. You want me to send it to you? And they say yes every time. We make this business so hard. We make the world so hard. We make being in leadership and being a follower, we make it so freaking hard, when in fact, like, the world is screaming, hey, by the way, here's the only thing I'm interested in your business. It's the only question they know to ask. And then we do a horrible job of answering the question, or we manipulate them into doing something, or manipulate them into getting into business with it. So everybody I know would get my real estate market update.
Yeah, of course.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. I become their resource. Next thing you know, I become their expert. And people, well, Russ, I said, so you say how? Okay. So me, I want to make sure they see me in my pie hole saying stuff out loud. Because if I just forward them stuff, who's the expert? Oh, you sent me some expert stuff. I want them to think it's you that is the expert. So you could take expert stuff and I'll go, hey, by the way, guys, I just got this chart. And just so you know, the average American in the USA right now, the average is 57.3% gains over the last 5 years. So while you are seeing some prices go down, listen, man, like, if the property price went from 400 to 600 and then dropped back to 500, you still have $100,000 equity in the house. You didn't have 6, but you still have 100. So if I told you, by the way, man, you're going to live in a house and you're going to have an extra $100,000 at the end of 5 years, would you be good?
Yeah.
You'd be thrilled, right? So instead of having a shit ton, they have a half a shit ton.
Yeah, it's still a ton, right? Yeah.
Still a ton, right? So it's a matter of shifting the conversation. When you start saying stuff like that, people go, wait a minute, this guy knows his stuff. Dude, I don't know. I just tell you what that means.
Listen, if you're leading with exactly what you said, which is, I just did a market update. Do you want me to send it to you? They'll be like, yes, that makes sense. And then you can ask questions after. Like, as soon as you get yes. I love that. I love that approach, man. It's so simple. And it works. I already ran it through the different scenarios that I've done. I'm like, oh, that works
everywhere.
Dang. That does work everywhere.
By the way, like, I bump into people all the time, and in the course of conversation for me, I'm just going through, I'm like, you'll see me study it. Like, in my head, I'm going like, do I have a video on that? Do I have a thing on that? Do I have a slide on that? Do I have a chunk on that? So I have a whole pile of value. So I got a thing that I use for PowerPoint. It's titled PowerPoint, even though it's not PowerPoint. It's like, I don't know why I titled it PowerPoint, but it's literally it's a whole thing on my phone. And it's literally, I save anything that can be like, wait a second, screenshot. It's anything that I could possibly use within business or around, or I might use it in a PowerPoint for a presentation at some point. Or if I'm going on stage, I'm like, oh, I got a thing on that. That was pretty good. So always store. So like for me, having a store of valuable information, like leadership. Let's go back to leadership for a second. Leadership is, how do I add as much value to everybody around me?
Yeah.
It's not walking up and going, look at me, I'm in charge. It's like, how can I add value to you and you and you and you and you? I want us all to succeed, you first.
Yeah, I like that. Now, tell me more about intentional visibility. I wrote that down for a question for you. What does intentional visibility look like to you?
You know, I think people forget that we need to be seen.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
And in the correct light for the correct result.
Tell me more.
So I want to set myself in a situation with, like, well, you said earlier, it's like people don't go like, hey, Russ, I love your real estate chops. I'm like, I do. I like your woodworking.
Yeah.
I love the forging. By the way, did you see the video of me pulling a fingerboard off of a $4,000 bass guitar that I built? And I'm like, dude,
send that to me. Oh, crap.
Yeah. Dude, the truss rod, the thing that keeps the neck straight and flat. So strings have tension on them, about 200 pounds of tension on them. Okay. So, and the neck is wood. So we put a stabilizer bar in the middle of it with a little nut, and you can actually put tension on that. So it can actually, put a little tension on it to keep that fingerboard flat. So it keeps the neck in line and adjustable. And allows you to be able to vary the amount of bow. So if I put nothing on it, the thing will bow forward maybe like a quarter inch, and the strings go up, right?
Wow.
So I put a little bit of a twist into it, and it flattens that board back to flat. Okay, so the truss rod, the nut was faulty weld or whatever, broke.
Okay.
Well, it's completely encapsulated in wood.
Oh.
So you can't just like pull it out and put a new one in. No. So how do you get that out?
I don't know. How?
Doing woodwork's challenging, right? Undoing woodwork is even more challenging because, like, I glued that son of a bitch on tight. They're like, hey, that's a little loose, so I just peeled it off, right? So basically, I have to. So then there's a number of different ways you can do this, right? But this particular thing is a fretless fingerboard. It's a fretless bass guitar. So you can't just like drill a hole in it, pump a bunch of steam into it, and then pull it apart and put it back on. It'll ruin the fingerboard, right? So I take an iron that I iron my shirts with.
Okay.
It's a crappy iron. I don't like it, so I dragged it downstairs. I figured I want it to die. I'm trying to make it die.
It's not working.
I can just go out and buy another one, but this one works. It just doesn't work great. It drives me nuts, right? I'm kind of spoiled. I was at the Hyatt, Scottsdale Grand Hyatt. They have a really nice iron there, by the way.
Yeah, but that's a nice hotel.
It's a nice hotel. So I take the iron and put it on the fingerboard, and then it heats up. And then because of the type of glue that I use, when it gets hot, it starts to release.
Okay.
So then you take a little spatula thing and slide it under, heat it, slide it, heat it, slide it, heat it, slide it, and 45 minutes later, the whole thing's off.
45 minutes later.
The problem is you can't heat it too much, because if you heat it too much, then the laminations on the part underneath it will separate too.
Everything falls apart.
Exactly.
Oh.
You take a $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, $12,000 fancy, the best built electric bass guitar in the world, and you stick it in a sauna for 2 or 3 hours, and it'll fall apart.
No way.
The glue will just release and fall apart, right? So that's why you don't leave your guitars in a car. You don't leave them in really hot environments. That's why you keep them temperature.
Russ, there's some great lessons in there. You could start a whole keynote just with that. It's like, let me take you through a story and then relay it over to something having to do with real estate and life. Because, dude, there's something there, man.
So under the right circumstances, anybody can fall apart.
Yeah, there you go.
Under the right circumstances, everybody will fall apart.
I mean, dude, you're watching what's happening with society. I'm
watching people fall apart the last 2 days.
Yeah.
I've watched people say things that I know they don't mean. Yeah. I've watched people say things that they're going to freaking regret.
Yeah, we're already seeing that. This is crazy.
Yeah. So with that being said, like, how do you show up, right? You got to show up your authentic self, but at the same time, your authentic self can't be doing harm to others around you.
No, exactly. And that's
also,
part of what... Go ahead.
Secondly, like, guys, if you see something that really bothers you, keep walking. Like, don't stand there and roll it. Like, if I step in a pile of dog shit, I don't stand there and roll around. I don't fall on the ground and roll around in it. Like, wipe it off and keep on moving.
Oh, shit. I don't know anybody that does that. That's a really good analogy, man.
But they do on social media, right? You see something that you like... It's words, guys. Like, when did we get to the point where we're like, just move on? Like, if you don't like their flavor, don't like their vibe, fine. I'm not opposed to unfriending people. Like, listen, man, if you see stuff that people do that really bothers you, then, like, stop looking. Like, by the way, every time I drive by a McDonald's, I crave French fries. So you know what?
Every time, Russ.
Every freaking time. Every time I like get a little bit of slobber in the corner of my mouth, I'm like, whoa, French fries, right?
Big Mac.
Ah.
French fries.
So don't drive past McDonald's if you got a French fry problem, right? So, this is, Tristan, the art of leadership is lead yourself. Freaking lead yourself first.
That's step one.
That's how I started the book. It's like, let's lead myself first and then become the person that I need to be. And then when I become that person, I throw up a flag and go like, hey, it's like throwing up a hamburger stand, right? Throw up a hamburger stand, put up a big sign that says hamburgers, and guess who's going to stand in line?
Yeah.
You got a bunch of hamburger eaters, right?
That's right.
Like somebody comes in the line and they're like, hey, I would like a meatless hamburger. I'm like, you're in the wrong line, man. This is a hamburger line. Like I'm not, nothing wrong with vegan. There's vegan over there, right? Go stand in the vegan line. Nothing wrong with that, but this is a hamburger line. They make hamburgers. If you don't like hamburgers, don't stand in this line.
You're in the wrong line, buddy. Sorry.
You're in the wrong. And cool, right? And should we be mad about like, oh, shoot, I'm in the wrong line. Damn it. Like I'll go to a different place, right?
No, you don't sit there and complain and roll around and be like, I'm in the wrong line. How did I end up here?
I can't believe you guys are eating hamburgers. I'm like, it's a hamburger stand. Like, that's what they do.
That's so funny.
It's where it is. Like, woodworkers are going to be, like, my wife is like, it's always sawdust everywhere. I'm like, duh. It's a wood shop.
That's funny. All right.
I may track it around the house more than I should, but that's the second problem.
Give me some practical frameworks that we can use to show up better. Right. Besides, I love the easy one where I'm probably going to use this somewhere else. Russ, so thank you for it. I love this.
I am here to give you whatever you want.
I love all of it. You said, if you see a pile of shit on the floor and you step on it, you don't pause and then roll in it. That's my favorite one. Okay. By the way, I love that.
This is the way I communicate.
Framework. Give me a framework on how I can show it better to then lead and then attract through the way I'm showing up.
Yeah. So that's the first things first. I wrote a chapter in the book called White Buffalo, like White Buffalo, right? White Buffalo hunt. So Tristan, we spend our formative years very young, and like you wake up in the morning and like you have children?
Yes, 2.
Okay. How old?
14 and 19.
Okay. Remember when they were like 3 and 4?
Yes.
And your wife's like, you're taking the kids. And you're like, okay, guys, go get dressed. And like the little one shows up with a pair of purple pants and a tutu around her head and backward, 2 shoes that are different colors and 4 different wearing socks on her hands. And you're like, let's go. Right.
Agrees.
Like the kid just like, what did she feel like wearing today? This is kind of how I get dressed in the morning. Like, what do I feel like wearing today? I don't like, I got some jacked up combinations of people like, you got some crazy stuff. But like, I do it to entertain myself. Right. Like, I don't care if you like it or not. That's me. This is the way I roll.
That's it.
So like you go into elementary school and you start realizing like, my kid's weird, right? Like, we got to make sure this kid doesn't dress like that because like, so now you're starting to shove that thing into a bucket, right? And then you get into middle school and like, dude, you do not want to stand out. If you stand out in middle school, you are going to get abused. Okay. I mean, I thankfully a lot of that has slowed down, but I think a lot of that is actually what made us reasonably tough. You've never gotten picked on, really?
Yeah.
Come on, right? You've never been in a fight. Like these
it allows you to deal with that confrontation.
Yes.
Right?
I mean, there's a lot to that. Getting picked on is like, you got to learn how to work through that stuff, right? So then you get into high school and you start to find that there are groups that separate out. It's like, I want to be completely different. So all the goth kids are completely different, just like each other. Right? Yes. Right. So you get groups of people that are separating and doing different. So you got the jocks, you got the burnouts, and you got the heavy metal guys, and then you got the skateboard kids, and you got the Glee Club kids, and you got the band kids. You know, they kind of build their own little cliques and kind of find their own tribe. But within that tribe, they end up looking. They're like, I'm completely different, exactly like all these other completely different people, right? Yeah. So all of society as we're growing up is kind of shoving you into being a conformist. And what you don't realize is that by the time you get to an adult, you're kind of shoved into this box and you're scared to step outside of that box for the repercussions that go along with it. But the thing is, Tristan, when you realize that those things that make you different are what you got to celebrate.
Yeah, that's so true, buddy.
How do you stand out from the herd? The white buffalo stands out from the herd. By the way, Tristan, newsflash, you're unique. You are 1 in 8 billion unique. And when you start to say, wow, cool, like, and celebrate that and lean into that, what you're going to find is, I cannot remember who said this the first time, but I loved it the first time I heard it. Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one.
I was like, I wish I known who had put that out first, because I want to give him credit for it, because it really is. So like, you become the best you, and you throw that hamburger stand flag up, and guess what, man? You're going to find a bunch of hamburger eaters. By the way, if you throw up a sign saying meatless burger, vegan burger, you're going to find a bunch of vegans, right? So neither one of them is better than the other. It's just like, I'm a barbecue nut. By the way, I may have a barbecue problem too, which you have seen on Facebook.
Yes.
Okay. So number one, like, start to have a vibe, start to have some type of thing. Like, what is your thing? Like, lean into that, lean into those things that make you unique. Instead of saying, I don't want to stand out, you want to say, I want to lean into those things that make me stand out.
Dude, I like that. Yeah. Lean into what makes you unique.
Lean into what makes you unique. So the things that make you stand out are the things that make you stand out, right? So be that and relax into that. I think the hardest part is we have to get to the point where we feel comfortable knowing that I'm not for Tristan, I'm not for everybody. I'm not.
No, you're not. But, I'm a fan. So
that's why, like, there are people that are like, Russ is too spastic, that like, I don't want to be like, or whatever, right? Or like, I don't like the guy that, like, somebody's like, you're a little bit overdressed. I'm like, not for me. I'm not, man. I'm freaking Superman. When I throw a vest, a shirt, and a tie on, I'm freaking Superman. You ever see Superman go out without his cape, without his red suit, and then he pulls his underwear on last? I don't know why they do that as superheroes. They get dressed and then they pull their underwear on last, and he goes, flies around. Like, Superman is Superman when he puts a Superman cape on, right? So, like, the wood nerd wears flannel. You know why? Right. So you gotta start to find that thing that makes you unique. I think, for me, I'm very much a challenge in that I'm like a teeter-totter. I go from very overdressed or very professionally dressed to looking like a homeless dude. My wife's like, if people saw you walking around looking like I'm at Menards picking up some stuff, and she's like, you went out like that? Like, that's what? Funny. I'm working on stuff. Like, yeah, my jeans are ripped and dirty. I got blood stains on them. And she's like, you don't wear those blood stained ones out in public? I'm like,
well, you're doing woodwork.
Did you see what I did to my thumb? That made a mess out of that pair of jeans. I'm like, that's a badge of honor now, man. Like, you should see the bloody mess that thing was. So, but it's a matter of like, you gotta find that feel and that vibe. Like, for me, I like hanging out with woodworkers. I like talking to anybody that crafts anything. Anybody that makes anything with their hands, I really like talking to them.
That's interesting.
Like anybody building a business, because that's crafting too.
That's true. I think we're scared to show up our unique selves because we're scared to be judged. We're like, what if they don't like me? What if they judge me? What if they say I'm an idiot? What if they say that? But that's going to happen along the way to finding your crowd. Right?
The ability to, I think for me, the ability to laugh at myself. For me, the ability to laugh at myself and just be like, I'm not, like, stop taking yourself so damn seriously, right? Here, let me show you this. Check this out real quick. I know here's a video I did with Frank Panunto and I promoting a thing we call 200 Club, right? Check out that hair.
Dude, I like that.
Dude, like, my coloring, I look like an Oompa Loompa, and like I look like an Oompa Loompa that hit a light socket with my hair. Like, the way the lighting was, it's like, so look at this. It's like silver explosion on my head, and like, it's not even that silver.
Going straight up, buddy. It's going straight up.
It was, I read an article one time that said taller dudes make more money, and this is worth like $20,000 a year.
That's how you're gonna get there. You and I both.
6'1" now, baby.
Going up. We're going up.
Yep, I'm 5'11" at the top of my skull, and I'm 6'1" with my hair.
Dude. All right, tell me about your book, Be Followable. Where did the idea come from? Did people say, hey, you should write a book, or was this something from you specifically?
Well, two things. I've had in the back of my mind for a long time, I should write a book. And then, like, here's the truth of it. You have, I think I'm going to turn this into something also. This is going on stage. What if? Two freaking amazingly powerful words, right? What if people laugh? What if nobody reads my book? What if I suck at writing? What if I spend all this time and nothing happens? What if I waste my time on it?
It's a lot of what if.
How many years did what if stop people from doing stuff? Because they follow that what if. You can choose anything you want to follow that what if. You can choose anything you want. What if this is a game changer? What if this is a life changer? What if this speaks to someone's soul? What if this is the gateway to something way bigger than I could ever imagine? What if 100,000 copies sell? What if somebody grabs it and runs with it and says, hey, Russ, because of that, Tristan, because of that, I'm going to be on the main stage with 5,000 people in the crowd.
Dude, I love that.
About would have never happened without that. Would have never happened without that. What if somebody offers you $10,000 to come onto a stage and speak to somebody's soul? What if you have the ability to actually put your stuff out in the world and somebody grabs on? What if it changes one person's life? Is it worth it?
Yeah.
What if it saves one person's life? Is it worth it? Very sensitive environment right now. What if one person's life was saved? 2 people's lives are going to be lost. And thousands of other people are going to be lost because of the what if. Right? So leaning into that, here was the impetus. Okay. My boss now currently said to me, Russ, you got a book in you and I want you to write it. And I'm like, challenge accepted. And she's like, well, that was easy. I'm like, I've been thinking about it for years and never had the balls to actually let it rip. So you know what? I was ready for that challenge and I was like, let's go. And then I was like 5 weeks later, 6 weeks later, I'm like, chapter 6. She's like, what are you doing?
Oh,
what are you doing? Right. So, so it became a challenge to say, and then of course I do this like I do everything else. You know, like the whole majority of the book was written in 6 months.
That's fast. How did you decide your topic?
You know, it's funny. So I've got a guy named Cody Purcell. So on the back of my book is this Red Cord Publishing, right? Yeah. A lot of people try to do everything themselves, and I learned a long time ago. Like, by the way, the first time I forged a knife, I worked with a blacksmith.
Smart. Yeah.
First time I wrote a book, I worked with a guy. So this guy was an English teacher by trade. He's a pastor, part-time pastor. And he does this because he really enjoys kind of a hobby that pays for itself for him. So he'll do 10, 15, 20 books a year type of thing. And basically what he and I did, he's like sat down, he interviewed me. And he's like, and I was like, let me send you some videos because I've got a lot of video content, right? Yeah. I sent him some video content and he's like, I want to write a book on leadership. I was thinking about writing a book on attraction because I've done that attracted my first real estate agent in 2006.
Nice.
I'm running attraction for one of the biggest, the biggest independent real estate company in the country. So I know a little bit about attraction, right?
Hell yeah.
So with that said, I thought like I should write a book on that. And I was like, but like how many people really want to read that book? And so I started kind of going down that path. And then we were sitting there like, man, okay, in order to be good at attraction, number 1, I need to free up some time. Number 2, I need to be working on the right stuff. Number 3, I need to get my mindset correct. Number 4, I need to become the right person for myself so that when I'm going to attract anybody anywhere for anything, that people know who I am and I'm attracting the right people to me. Because like, listen, man, if I want to attract a bunch of pickleballers, I don't want to go to the softball field most likely. Like softball players are at the softball field. The pickleball people are at the pickleball court, right? Yeah. Like if you want to find a rich dude with a boat, go to the marina. Okay, so it was a matter of like, you got to get yourself the right person first. And then like we get to chapter 8 or 9 and I'm like, this is a leadership book on how to become the right person so people want to follow you. This is about how to be followable. And Cody looks at me, he goes, that's the title of the book.
That makes sense. That makes sense. See, and it's the discourse back and forth, dude. I love that.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of people are like, well, Ross, we could just go on ChatGPT and I mean, you could, but by the way, now that I load this into ChatGPT, I can ask ChatGPT, what would Russ say about this? Man, you ought to see the answers that come out of that thing. Right? So you load 260 pages of you into something. And by the way, take every video you do, take the transcript of it, stick all of it into a Word doc, like take 20 or 30 or 40 of them, stick them all into the same Word doc because you can only upload like 20 or 30 different 20 or so docs to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Take that one doc with 20 videos, this transcript from 20 videos, upload that into ChatGPT. Now ask it questions. What would Tristan say to this? Dude, you're like, wow, that's exactly, you know what? Now that you say that, that's exactly what I would have said.
That's
or
it.
very close. Or even better than that.
You have your own data set at that point, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So in the course of writing the book, so, the majority of the book was written in 6 months, and then you spend 2 or 3 months farting around with it. And then once you get the actual, this is a not for resale version, right? So this is not for resale. This is one of so got the first one, and you're like, open it up and like, let's read through it. And you're like, oh, that does, then it's the massaging game. And then you get to the point where you're like, enough.
Yeah. Let's just go. Let's just do it.
Freaking good enough. My wife's like, no, we got to change this. And I'm like, no. Launch it. See, that's the other thing too with people. Like, people are like, perfect is the enemy of getting anything done, really. And it's not that I would ever say I'm going to half-ass anything. It's never half-ass anything. It's like at some point you got to be like, just launch the damn thing, right? You've heard ready, aim, fire.
Yeah, all the time.
And you get people are ready, 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 and you get people are ready, aim, make some adjustments, aim. And then you get people like me is like, what are we aiming at? Let's throw some lead and then like remind me which way are we going, right?
That is very funny.
And it's just you got to figure out who you are and then run with it. So like launching it and then like it's not the end of the world, right? Obviously, if you launch it, it's junk and you haven't put it together right and you didn't take the time on it.
Yeah. No, but dude, you invested in the right person to help you out to build this out as well. So
yeah, and it's an amazing system in that, like I'm not a writer, like I'm not a grammar dude, right? Like listen to the way I talk most of the time. It's like I'm just make sense guy, right? So it's interesting to have that perspective to be able to kind of just match it. So my wife is like, but is it really you? If he's writing, I'm like, he's transcribing what he and I talk about. He'd transcribe it and then he'd send it back to me and I'd read through it and I'd go and mess it up. And then I'd add some stories and add some color commentary and I'd send it back to him and he'd correct it and clean it up. So I handed my wife the book, like, here's chapter 1, take a look at this. And she's like, oh yeah, this is you. Oh yeah, that's you. Right. So the art of working with, think about an interior designer. An interior designer doesn't typically walk in and be like, you're going to do this and this and this and this. They're helping you design the best house and design the best feel and design the best flavor that reflects you.
That's
the
it.
really great interior designers, you get done and you're like, this feels like me. Right.
Which, by the way, when I look at this and I've read a little bit of it, it feels like you. So
yeah. Well, did you see in did you catch the QR code?
No, I did not.
Yeah. So like in the intro, right at the intro, it says stop.
Oh. Yeah, I was thinking front page, front cover. Sorry, I was like, no. Yeah, I did. Yep.
The QR code. Mm-hmm. And so I said to Cody, I'm like, Cody, the problem is people aren't going to read this in my voice. They're going to read this in the voice that they think is my voice.
Yeah.
So if I put a QR code with little videos like, hey, I'm Russ Laggan, and I wanted you to read, thank you for buying the book. And I wanted you to read this book in my voice. So when you're reading the book, this is the sound of the person talking to you.
Mm.
And he's like, holy crap, dude, I've never thought of doing that before. That's brilliant. Because you don't know, like, have you ever read a book, like a fantasy book of some kind, like you got this character, whatever his name is, this character Tristan, and then you watch the movie and you're like, that doesn't look like, because you start to build a mental picture, right? So instead of somebody building their fictitious mental picture, I'm like, here's my pie hole saying that stuff, right? So now you get a flavor and a feel, right? And again, that is because I'm unique and because I articulate things uniquely. I want people to get a feel and a flavor for the level of passion that I have for what I do. And you can't pick that up. Yeah. There you go. The introduction. Yeah. Stop. How do you like my stick figure stop sign?
I love it. That's the very first thing I said. That's why I was like, oh, this is totally Russ. I loved it.
Me and my whiteboard's right there. Like this is my podcast wall. That's my whiteboard wall.
Yeah.
Check this out. It's my whiteboard's right there.
Oh, easy. I'm surprised there's no stick figures on there, dude. Come on.
I had to record something for Big Agent Meeting. Otherwise, there would be stick figures on there.
That is very funny.
It's very rare for there not to be stick figures on there. Actually, that's very unusual to not have stick figures on there. But that was the other thing too for me is, and people, jokingly say, Russ, do you bring a whiteboard with you everywhere? Yeah, actually I do. I've got a Remarkable. You know what Remarkable is?
Dude, I love it. And the little, you see the new baby Remarkable?
Dude, I really want that little baby one.
Me too. But I don't know that I need it, but
$500 worth. Like, I mean, it's not like we don't have the money, but at some point, too much.
Because then now I have the big one and the little one.
No, I don't know where anything is because it's in one of them. Yeah, but so when I talk to people, I will typically draw it out. So for me, it helps make more sense for me. It also makes it make more sense for them because like when you're talking about structuring something or building something, we're talking about building teams all the time. We're talking about building organizations all the time. It's like all I got to do is like here's you, here's them, and next person you come in, you put all of them over here, and they go poof, done. Game like literally takes 30 seconds, and they get it. Versus talking it. And then they'll ask me a question. I'm like, I know they don't know what they're like. Here's what it looks like. And you draw, because by the way, most of us are visual. Words are horrible at explaining things.
And that's why I'm interviewing you, dude. Like visually, like people
visually, yes.
The book.
Yes. Well, it's the same problem we have with text. You ever send a text and the person sends you back like, what the hell does that mean?
All the time,
dude.
People put happy faces. That's why I put happy faces.
Oh, all the time, dude. I got a laughy face. Like it's my most used emoji is a laughy face with the water coming out of his face. Right. The thing is that people don't read the text in the voice that you wrote it. They read the text in the voice of how they feel about you when they're reading it,
or how they're feeling in general,
or how they're feeling about themselves at the time. Right. So they read they're putting their stuff. It's just your words, but they put their stuff and feeling on it. So you've got to be really, really intentional with the way you communicate, particularly via text. Text is not communication. It's word exchange. Communication, they talk about the communications, like how much of communication is nonverbal. Like, by the way, when you see me in person, I like you.
Yeah.
You see how excited I get when I see you?
Yeah, dude.
I'm like a freaking Labrador retriever. My ass is wagging back and forth, tail's going. I'm doing everything but slobber, right? But I get really excited to see somebody that I know. I had somebody say to me the other day, they're like, Russ, like, I am just like you. And I'm like, you are not just like me. And he's like, no. I am exactly like you, but in here. I get as excited as you do. But I get in here. I'm like, dude, introduce your face to that. Like, let your face know. It stops like a half an inch behind their face, right? Like, introduce that to your face. Because I thought the guy hated everybody.
Oh my God.
Right? So, but he's like, no, I'm really excited. He said, I just don't show it. I'm like, all right. And maybe I show a little too much, but whatever, right? I'm going to, I'll go down in history as like, yeah, Russ was too enthusiastic. He was too passionate. He loved people too much.
Well, Russ, where do people go find your book, buddy?
Oh, yeah. So available on Amazon. You can go to befollowable.book.com if you want to get a little more information. befollowable.book.com. So I've got a little landing page there with a couple of testimonials and that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's a nice landing page, buddy.
How do you like the little logo, Russ Inc? Got the little figures building the Russ.
let me share it right here really quick. Share screen. I went to Amazon and I got the Kindle version.
So the Kindle version is out now. That took an extra week or two. We wanted to make sure that was launched. There you go. That's it.
That's nice.
Like the little stick figures building the Russ Inc. Looks like it's under construction.
Boom, over here. Yeah, that's so cute. I like that a lot.
So I'm working on the audio currently.
Oh, good.
So the audio version. And funny enough, Tristan, you'll love this. So I've got set up Hey Gen Russ, which by the way is to the point it's not creepy, which is cool. And then good. 11 Labs. So I did a bunch of work with 11 Labs, and 11 Labs has voice recording of me. So it'll be AI Russ reading my book.
Oh, nice, buddy.
And it sounds pretty good. The Hey Gen Russ, I'm going to build out a 12 module masterclass out of the 12 chapters in the book. And it's funny, the Hey Gen Russ, the eyebrows shoot all over its forehead just like mine. So when you're like watching, you're like, his eyebrows fly around too. So
that's so funny.
It is pretty humorous. But yeah, so the audiobook, I'm hoping to have the audiobook in the next 2-3 weeks.
Dude, let me know when it's on and I'll download it so I can listen to it too.
Yeah, cool. And you know what? A lot of people are saying that. So, and I get it. So I do a ton of walking. And by the way, I'm listening to audiobooks now too. So same thing. It's like, that's a great way to get it going. If you're going to be on a treadmill, man, or taking a walk or taking a run,
Right.
might as well listen to something interesting, kind of win across the board. So
I agree. Well, Russ, thanks for doing this, buddy. I appreciate you so much, man. This was very informative. I took 2 pages of notes. So my favorite thing that you said, if you see a pile of shit on the floor and you step on it, you don't pause and then roll in it. Thank you. Thank you for that.
it's true.
Very, very practical and great advice. It's almost like my grandfather told me that. Listen, Tristan, listen. Right?
I've been accused of being an old soul more than once.
So good, dude. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.